Week 16. Not football related, but the new Sonic 3 movie is a fucking banger.
Long live the king.
Broncos country, let's ride. More like, let's ride the lightning.
What the hell happened? The Broncos seem to be in total command of this game, but after the most peculiar kicking rule to end the half, Jim Harbaugh and this Chargers team ripped Denver a new one in the second half. This is what I meant, Houston. You're still a few years away from being a true contender. It's no shame losing to the now 14-win, 2-time defending champion Chiefs, but my goodness, praying for a full recovery for Tank Dell. The victim finally takes down the bully. This game had a weird flow, but to keep it quick and easy, the Ravens and Steelers were tied at 17, but after some big Baltimore plays and a few Pittsburgh turnovers, the Ravens just outright dominated in this rematch. The North remains unclaimed, with these two in contention. Pretty solid debut for Michael Penix, a result of the Falcons' defense, who outscored the Giants as a team. Atlanta still has a chance to win their division somehow. Just keep an eye on Tampa. You don't even have to worry about New Orleans anymore. Oh wow, an unexpected banger. Alright, well this game was back and forth all throughout, but after Kyler Murray takes the Cards on a game-tying drive to force overtime, unfortunately following the first drive from both teams, Carolina closed out the game and the Cardinals season. It seems obvious the Bears have no interest in playing out the remainder of this season. I don't blame them, just hopelessness. The Lions didn't even break a sweat as they fake fumble passed all over Chicago. What happened to the fun Browns? Nothing but pain and despair and agony. Oh, and how convenient. They matched up with the Bengals team who are trying to stay in the hunt and will obliterate anybody in their way. Holy shit, Jonathan Taylor just went God mode today. 218 yards and 3 touchdowns? It was enough for the Colts to blow the doors off the Titans. Or it would have been if Indy's defense didn't give up 23 unanswered points in the second half. Yeah, we don't have to talk about that. Yeah, Jets, I figured this is what you were. I won't bother beating a dead horse. But the Rams really had to grind this one out, and they're on their way to clinching the West. Washington, well done. Sure, most of the game was played by Kenny Pickett, but the Eagles still scored 33 points. The rest of the NFC East rejoices. Well, except for one fan base. Wow, this was actually a low-key heavyweight bout. Geno Smith put the Seahawks on his back, which also included a couple of bad turnovers, but unfortunately was outdone by an unfathomably locked-in Sam Darnold, as he and the Vikes win their 8th straight. It stops being a surprise after a while. The Patriots return to their former glory anytime they play the Bills. Once again, Buffalo overcomes a slow start at home to take control of the game against a much more inferior team. I think I recapped 3 Buffalo games the same way this season. There's no way both these teams wanted to win. Terrible football to the third power times infinity squared. To break down the equation, with divisions within coaching staffs and players, and the front office ineptitude multiplying, the addition of a win for the Raiders was a subtraction of valuable draft position. Cripple fight indeed. The Niners were outmatched in... wait, what? No, the Niners just played terrible, much like they did most of the season. They were not good. Two in the Fins did just enough to keep their very slim playoff hopes alive. San Fran, should we expect a Hangover 3 in 2028? It's too late to save Dallas' season, but Mike McCarthy probably just saved his job, and I'm glad I manifested a great game. In this hard-hitting Sunday night showdown, Tampa had no answers for Dallas' dominating defense, and just like the last play, had the NFC South ripped away from them. 34 skunked. Wow. The Saints really just gave up after they were eliminated. Or it was all the injuries. Either way, it's another dominant primetime win for the Packers, and they've officially punched their ticket to the dance. Complain about the ways they win, but they are winning. Give me the Chiefs winning this one, and solidify that these AFC playoffs come through Arrowhead. Against this Ravens team, coming in after beating down the Steelers, still fighting for their division, yeah, give me the Ravens winning this one easy. Then on Thursday Night Football, we're going to have the Seahawks taking on the Bears. Now this one will be easy. Bears already packed for Cancun, and the Seahawks are still fighting for a playoff berth. and they're coming out 2 heartbreaking losses to the other NFC North teams. Give me the Seahawks dominating in this game to set up a big Week 18 matchup. Then to kick off our Saturday, we got the Chargers taking on the Patriots. I feel like knowing how LA plays, they're going to make it harder on themselves than it needs to be, but I have no confidence in New England. Give me the Chargers winning this one. Then we're going to have the Broncos taking on the Bengals. Oh man, this game is massive for the AFC playoffs. The Bengals have to win this game to keep their hopes alive. Whereas if Denver wins, they lock up their spot and wipe away the other teams in the hunt. Now, Denver's offense started strong against the Chargers and even got out to a big lead, but down the stretch, the whole team just kind of faltered and let the Chargers come back into that game and end up winning. Those are the type of mistakes you can't have against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Despite the 7-8 record, he's still having an MVP season. I think Jamar Chase is starting to overtake the Offensive Player of the Year conversation, and their defense, still a concern. But if this game becomes a shootout, I trust Cincinnati to win this one. So give me the Bengals winning this one, and after a long season, finally crawl their way to a 500 record. Then on Saturday night, we got the Cardinals taking on the Rams. This game would have had higher stakes if the Cardinals didn't drop that one to Carolina last week. But the Rams find themselves now in full control of their destiny in winning the division. Even though the Cardinals smoked them early on in the season, both of these teams are much different than that last matchup. Now, after a 44-point explosion against the Bills, the Rams' offense has kind of struggled to score over these last couple games, even though they've won, which is a testament to how much their defense has improved over the season. And the one thing that plays into that defense's favor, Arizona's offense has struggled the last month. Kyler Murray hasn't looked good, and in turn, they're not getting a whole lot of production from Trey McBride or Marvin Harrison Jr. Not only that, their defense has been one of their biggest problems all season. So this Saturday night in Inglewood, I'll have the Rams returning the favor and blast the Cardinals before getting ready for another division matchup next week. Then to start off our Sunday, we got the Jets taking on the Bills. I mean, it's Josh Allen in a division game. The score will be close, like it was the first time in Jersey, but no doubt the Bills win this one. Then we've got the Titans taking on the Jags. Wow, toilet bowl rematch. Yeah, I'm convinced that the Jags and Doug Peterson really just don't give a fuck anymore. But at the same time though, the Titans try their hardest and it just doesn't work. Truthfully, it would be the biggest shock if the Jags were to sweep the Titans this season. In the preseason, I would have predicted it, but with how bad they've both been this season, yeah, this seems like a good shitty South split. Then we're gonna have a surprisingly intriguing NFC East matchup with the Cowboys taking on the Eagles. So in the stretch that saw the Cowboys go 4-1, I think I only predicted them to win one game in that stretch, and that was against the Giants. As a fan, I'll even admit that I was out on them for a majority of this season, but they played some really good football as of late, and that defense just overwhelmed Tampa Bay. Keep in mind, the Buccaneers were one of the highest scoring teams in the NFL, but they've been doing enough to win, especially against some of these good teams and teams that are kind of on a hot streak. But they're going to be going to Philly, who would like to lock up the division, especially after their loss against Washington last week. And even though the Eagles annihilated the Cowboys at Jerry World in Cooper Rush's first start of the season, Dallas has sneakily been a much better team on the road. Ultimately, I still think the Eagles will win the division, but I'm going to take the Cowboys with the upset in this one. I feel like they're going to put everything out on that field since they've got nothing to lose. And just for the fact that these two teams don't normally sweep each other. Even when both are good, both are bad, one is good and one is bad, they usually always split. So I'm taking the upset and we'll see. Then we're going to have an NFC South matchup with the Panthers taking on the Bucks. The Panthers are coming in off of an exciting overtime win against the Cardinals, and the Bucks are coming in after just being beat down in Arlington. Tampa Bay's division hopes, and I guess playoff hopes as a whole, are on the line. They could not afford a misstep for the remainder of the season, but Carolina's not going to make it easy. We know this from the first time they played, but I think Tampa's going to come in and take out all their frustration on the team in front of them. Give me the Bucks winning this one to give them a chance at the South. Then we're going to have the Raiders taking on the Saints in what should be Derek Carr's revenge game, though it's uncertain if he'll play or not. But the Raiders won last week and sort of ruined their tank, while the Saints just got shut out on national TV on Monday Night Football. Honestly, a part of me feels like the Saints probably won't score another point for the remainder of the season. Give me the Raiders somehow winning this one, I don't know, 3-0 or something. Then we're going to have the Colts taking on the Giants. The Colts defense is a concern, but they honestly don't even have to do anything this week against the Giants. Give me the Colts winning this one. Then to open up our late window, we got the Dolphins taking on the Browns. So the Dolphins still have a very small chance to make the playoffs. They just got to win these next two games and then have some other crazy shit happen. But instead of making this matchup a lot longer than it should be, I'm taking the Dolphins. The Browns are going to roll out DTR again. Yeah, this one's not going to be fun. Then we're going to have the potential game of the week when we have this NFC North clash between the Packers and the Vikings. Both teams solidified in the playoffs and hold the 6th and 5th seed respectively. The last time these teams played, it was a high-scoring affair in Lambeau, where the Vikings squeaked that one out 31-29. This time around at US Bank Stadium, the Vikings' chances of the division and even the 1 seed are in the balance, and they've been playing some really good football on this 8-game winning streak. As I said with Green Bay, we know that they're without a doubt a tier 2 team. And a lot of the reason why they lost that first game against the Vikings, it was Jordan Love's first start after missing 2 games. And they were getting blown out early until they clawed back in the fourth quarter to make the score look more respectable. But I think if the same situation arises again, especially with the Packers still potentially being shorthanded in their secondary, I'm gonna have the Vikings winning this one and sweep the Packers this season. Then for Sam Darnold and the Vikes, you got a big one in Detroit next week. Then on Sunday Night Football, we got the Falcons taking on Washington. So this would have been another Kirk Cousins revenge game. But as you all know by now, Kirk Cousins might not take another snap with the Falcons again. It's going to be Michael Penix taking the helm in the meantime, and they're looking to build off a big win in his debut against the Giants. Now again, the Giants are a really bad team, as nicely and respectfully as I can put it. But the Falcons defense has been responsible for nearly half of the scoring in that game as well. And sure, they're coming off games against the Raiders and Giants, but if they can keep building on that defensively, they might have a chance to slow down Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, who are coming in after beating the Eagles. Granted, Jalen Hurts was knocked out early in that game, so they really just played Kenny Pickett. But even though the quarterbacks changed, the defense was still the same, and Washington was still able to put up 36 points on that unit, 22 of them in the fourth quarter alone. This is a big-time matchup with big-time playoff implications. Should be a good one to close out our Sunday, but we'll see. I would think that hopefully because Atlanta's coaching staff realizes that they do maintain control of their division for the moment, but this is one that they absolutely need to win. So I think both rookie QBs will ball out and put on a show. Ultimately, I will give it to Atlanta, just because they have more to lose. Then to wrap up week 17 on Monday Night Football, we got the Lions taking on the 49ers. Now the Lions are really close to achieving something that they have never done before. They're potentially 2 wins away from the number 1 seed in the NFC. And coincidentally, who are they trying to get it against? Why, it would only be the defending NFC champion 49ers, who were already eliminated from contention, and was also the team that kept Detroit from making their first ever Super Bowl appearance. Now at this point in the season, we know what both of these teams are. The Lions are a fucking unit, with maybe some injury concerns on their defense. And San Fran's whole season has been an injury concern. Without a lot of stars in the offensive lineup, it seems like Brock Purdy has not been able to elevate this team around him. Oh yeah, there's going to be plenty of uncomfortable conversations going on in the offseason, especially regarding his contract. But in the same way that the Lions felt like they were wronged against the Cowboys last year, I feel like they can be thinking the same thing about these 49ers. And just seeing the way Detroit responded in Dallas this season, like it wasn't just a blowout, it was actually straight disrespect, which is understandable. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and do the same thing against the 49ers on Monday Night Football, pulling out trick plays, having your fucking offensive linemen play out at receiver, and maybe even drop 50 points on what's usually a stout defense. Give me the Lions outright blasting the 49ers in the last game of 2024. And that's going to do it for my Week 17 predictions. I hope everybody enjoyed their Christmas and continue to celebrate throughout the remainder of this holiday season. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and be on the lookout next week where I'll have my Week 17 recap and my predictions for the Week 18 regular season finale. We'll see you guys next year, and keep it trill. Oh, what? I can't make that joke?